What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the MindShare podcast. My name is David Greenspan. I am your host of this show, and you should know that because it's episode 252. But hey, thanks for tuning in. This show is sponsored by Kits Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals, as well as REM Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle. It's got a 90-day social media content calendar in there. It's totally free. Check that out on our website, mindshare101.com. And of course, learn more about our one-to-one coaching and keynote speaking. Today's episode is number 252. Oh, and today is also the season opener for our Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm already getting anxiety inside. But anyways, yes, I am still a fan. Go Leafs, go. Representing both Windsor-Essex County homeowners and future homeowners since 2019 on the AW for You, the real estate group team, she is committed to catering and adapting to her clients' ever-changing real estate needs and understands that representation and guidance of her clients through this process is a true privilege. She's been passionate about real estate since the earliest years, growing up in Tecumseh, Ontario, being introduced to the market at a young age with her parents' home search that lasted for years. She knew she wanted to chart a path helping others and found her calling, serving clients and guiding them through one of the biggest investments of their lives. She believes real estate is far more than transactional. It starts and ends with relationships, and building trust is the epicenter of her business. Apart from being in real estate, she actively serves on the new Emerging Leaders Board for We Care for Kids and continues to serve her clients for many years ahead. Joining me on this episode of the MindShare podcast is realtor Katrina Wasiluk. Katrina, welcome to the MindShare podcast.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, David. What an intro. When you were saying it, I was like, is that me? Oh my gosh.
It is you. And we're excited to have you here today.
I am absolutely stoked to be here. As I was telling you before the show, I've listened to your podcast well over a year now, every Friday, very diligent on that. And that's what caused me to reach out to you to be my coach. God. I feel like it's super, it's very full circle right now that I'm going to be on your podcast.
That is super cool. And, you know, it's interesting you say that, because I would say that, and this is for everybody tuned in right now to understand, okay? And this is for all of us that put out any type of content, any type of video, any type of like voice content, whatever it is, even putting out posts on your social media. And I know, and if you listen to the show regularly, you've heard me say it before, I'm going to say it again. I never saw stats that said Katrina listens to the show.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying you didn't listen to the show. What I'm trying to hit home for everybody is the analytics don't tell the whole story. Mm-hmm. They rarely tell us exactly who's watching. They rarely tell us exactly what's going on, right? We don't get the big picture of what we want. And so trying to put, analytics at the top of everything we do and say, okay, I'm going to ride what I do and my success based on what the numbers tell me. Well, it just ain't the truth. It's just not. Because again, it never said, hey, Katrina, listen to your show every week. But I know you've told me, and I thank you.
Oh yeah. I think I've said it time and time again. That's what I do on Friday mornings when I get ready for work. I put on that podcast. It sets the tone for the day, the weekend, and even the beginning of the week. And I love it. It's something that is in my goal setting that we set up. Listen to real estate podcasts. And I always, every Friday, I try to check off that little box there.
Well, we thank you for tuning in regularly. It's certainly helpful to know we've got one listener.
You have way more than that. I think my team will probably be listening on Friday too. So you're going to get a couple more active listeners. That's for sure.
Nice. Love that. Well, that's cool. Now, where are you right now? Because that background is super awesome.
I know, right? I am currently in the AW3U office. I'm actually back in the back office in Paul's office, which is unreal. The landscape behind me, it's all of our logos. Like you could see like a Tim Hortons logo, Lakers logo that we just made it into AW4U. And we have it in all of our VIP boxes that we send to clients. We have it in our in our swag that we wear, our hats. I mean, that AW for You logo is, I love it. I rep it all the time. And I love that it's just bam, right behind me.
That is wicked cool. Well, we know you're part of a great team, and Paul is there. Who I haven't had the opportunity to meet Paul yet, but I know that your affinity to your brand, and then obviously knowing some of the team members as well there,
Right.
us included, and just knowing and understanding the brand. You guys have some really, really cool going on over there. So it's anyways, yeah, I love that background. I think it's wicked.
I appreciate that. Thank
So
you. I love it too. I'm biased, but I absolutely love it.
hey, listen, we're allowed to be, right? We're allowed to be. Okay, wait, it just hit me because I was about to ask you a question. Then I thought, like, I just gave a shout out to my Leafs. Why isn't there like a Leafs logo? What's with the Lakers and like, where's the Leafs?
There's no Leafs logo yet.
Is this because you guys are so close to Detroit? Like maybe there should be a Red Wings logo? Like
maybe, to be honest, we never no, we did an NHL logo years ago, but it wasn't like AW for You. I don't know. I'm gonna have to bring this up with the team.
I'm putting in a vote. I'm putting in a vote. I'd like to see some Toronto teams on that wall. I'm just saying.
I will put that in our suggestion box on our Monday morning meetings.
Very much appreciate it. Hey, it was great having you. See you later. No joking. Hey, I mentioned in your bio about your parents' home search that lasted for years, and I had to ask you that question and just go like, tell us about this home search that lasted for years.
And you were very it was not just years, David. When you said years, I'm like, oh yeah, people might think, 2 or 3. No, all together, on and off, 8 years. So that's a really
home search.
Home search. And of course, not full steam ahead every weekend for 8 years, of course, because I think that would have made my parents' real estate agent go crazy. But it was, they were very active for a couple months, up to a year. And then they kind of stopped, halted their search, and then went right back up because they were in search for their forever home. So they were, one, very picky, wanted to make sure it was absolutely perfect. So all I remember, like my early childhood up until I was 13, 14, remember going on private showings late at night after work. I remember open houses. And I feel like I kind of like grew up with real estate around me. And also it helped that my parents' real estate agent was way more than just an agent.
I was going to ask that. Like, was this the same agent for the whole time?
Yes, it was.
Talk about patience.
Patience. And honestly, we grew to love her as a close family friend. When my parents couldn't pick us up at school because they were busy working, trying to, make ends meet for us, she had a granddaughter that was our age, and they lived right around the school district. So they took us in and babysat us until my parents could pick us up, and we would have weekend play dates. And we really just grew into, she was like part of our extended family, truly. Shout out to Marianne Homer from Royal LePage. She's no longer an agent, but she served for, oh my gosh, decades. And she's a pivotal point for me why I wanted to get into this industry. Because she was always so patient, so calm. And I'm sure she was absolutely thrilled when we got the accepted offer. And she's like, finally. But honestly, she was truly amazing and really built the relationship. It was clearly not transactional on her end.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, right? Like when you talk about a search that lasted for that long, and I mean, I think we already kind of pulled some of this from you, but patience, relationship, right? I was going to say, like, what did you learn from that experience? And I guess beyond what you learned, like, how did that create the passion for real estate? Was that a catalyst for it at all?
Oh, absolutely. It definitely helped. I always knew when I was younger, I wanted to be in a career that I could help people. And seeing my parents' agent help us in more ways than one, and it wasn't just, getting my parents' dream house, that solidified to my parents that they made it. And that feeling that my parents worked so hard and they finally accumulated something that they worked so hard for, and hopefully one day could pass it down to myself or my sister. That meant everything to my parents. And my parents still talk so highly. And I just remember she helped us out more than just getting a house. It was so beyond that. So I always knew I wanted to help people, and definitely with my parents' house search, it solidified the fact that I could really grow and love this industry if I go into it in my 20s.
Yeah, and there's the interesting part is getting in early and
Yes.
early in your journey in terms of, let's say,
Mhm.
career and work and that part of our lives, right? But getting in early, obviously success doesn't happen immediately. It takes
Mhm.
time to build that, but it's also that progression of, you are that much further ahead when you start to get into that next sort of like 5-year frame or decade, and then the following decade of our lives, which we're all human, we're all getting older, we're all doing whatever. But I mean, like the earlier you start anything, yeah, you might make mistakes along the way, but you're gonna be that much better and have that much more success long term as the years go on.
Oh, absolutely. In the beginning, I did not know what the hell I was doing as an agent. My sister started 6 months ahead of me, and I was really learning from her, but learning from the team that I was on as well. And they taught me everything. And I look back now, I'm like, wow, I really have come a long way. But it did start when I was early. I was 25 in this business. And to some people that might not be young, but my sister and I were one of the youngest agents in Windsor at that time. Now, of course, there's a whole surge of new agents that
Mhm.
are even way younger than when I started. But when I did start, I was pretty young. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Okay, that's
But
what I was about to ask you too. Like, what was the first thing you did? So, I mean, obviously, we went through this journey. We sat there with our parents. We kind of went through that. We realized we've got a passion for this thing. We want to get into it. You got into it, and it's one thing to go get your license. And I mean, look, especially living in Ontario, like we both do, and looking at the amount of agents we have getting into the business, and dare I say, there's a lot of them getting out right now, right? Because they can't hack it. They don't know
absolutely.
what's up. And look, there's a byproduct of maybe not putting the right systems in place, maybe not seeking the right, advice, mentorship, team, whatever it be to help support them.
Right.
But it's one thing to get your license, another thing to like say, okay, I'm about to start my business. What was the first thing that you did when you actually started the business to like start your real estate business?
Right. Well, the one thing I did at the very beginning, when I knew I wanted to make real estate a career, it wasn't going to be a part-time thing for me. I really don't believe real estate is part-time. I wanted to go full throttle all the way into it. So I
Yeah.
actually, when I was doing my licensing, I started being a receptionist at Royal LePage Binder. So I knew the business really from the bottom up in terms of paperwork, the MLS, and also agent to agent relationships. So when I did become an agent, I already knew 150 agents from Royal LePage who would love to do a deal with me and vice versa. And that's
Right.
actually how I met Paul from AW for You. And then I was able to get mentored on this team. So one, that really, really helped. Two, I said yes to everything. I shadowed some of my team members on every showing, on open houses. I went on every open house I could, even though I didn't even know how to, like nurture an open house, how to do it correctly until honestly very recently. But I never said no. And I always said yes to an opportunity because it gave me the ability to learn something new. I also started my database, writing every single name of every person I knew, and I
Ah,
did
it's music to my ears. Sorry, keep going.
and I did handwritten letters. So it took me weeks to complete it all. And then
Yeah.
sometimes during the middle of a workday, I would say, "Oh, wait, this is the person I could reach out to." I could write it down, write a nice envelope saying, remember me, Katrina. I'm just starting my real estate career. If there's anything that I could do for you, please feel free to reach out, attach my business card. And I must have completed 1,000 to 2,000 envelopes. And it took me over a month. And I would just sit down in the kitchen island in my office, hunch back over and just write the same thing over and over. But that's how I started because again, I was young. People my age, 24, 25, they really weren't buying properties at that
Right.
point.
Yep.
And I was young and a lot of people didn't take me seriously. So that was
Okay.
also as well.
Well, so to take you seriously then, was it, "Let me show them how professional I am"? Was it like, how did you get over that? That's a great point you just bring up because you're right. One, your network really isn't buying houses right now.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna fast forward to, like, where we are today because 'cause you've been in the business some time now. You've
Correct.
grown, your network has grown, opportunities
Mhm.
have grown. Yet for that person who just got in the business right now that was or that part of me is in the shoes that you were in,
Mhm.
who maybe has a network of people that aren't spending money, and then also says, I got to get out there and I got to do something to make sure that people take me seriously.
Yeah.
Where did you find that? Was that through just what you just said and like write the letters, get out there in front of people, start to show them that I actually care about what I'm doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And as a new agent, it's hard for people to take you seriously because you can't really talk about the market and market stats when you don't really know the market and know what the market was previously like, right? So that's why I really tried to understand as much as I could, and
Right.
belly to belly conversations. Yes, I could have wrote 5,000 more letters, but I have to meet people face to face so they could really understand that, okay, I do have an identical twin sister I work with. Maybe we do look a certain way. Maybe we are younger, but as soon as my mouth opens, you could understand that I'm a professional,
Mhm.
and you could also see the passion that I have in this business. So I also said yes to everything that involved me meeting people or seeing people that I already knew. Because at the end of the day, this business is a belly to belly business. This is an interactive industry. You can't do it hiding behind mail outs or letters or text messages
Yeah.
or even phone calls, even though they're great. You taught me a lot about the phone calls, but to see people in person
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
try to get an opportunity wherever you could, right? At open houses, I went to every single one. And just recently, within the couple of years, our team really dove deep into how to do an open house well. The sign-in sheets, um, really interacted with people, come from a place of just service.
Yeah.
And then I look back into, the deal tracker that we have set up,
Mhm.
and 3 deals have come this year by open houses. So I will always just say yes to every opportunity that is given to me because you truly just never know.
It's funny. I was telling you before we got on air here, I was doing a training yesterday, and at the end of
Mhm.
it, somebody came out to me and says, if there's 2 things you could do, like only 2 things in your day, what would they be? And I turned to him, I said, get in touch with my contact list and meet 1 new person today. And then we started extending the conversation a little bit deeper of what does that look like to get in touch with the database, and what does it look like to meet somebody new? And we started doing a little bit of like very, very brief, like off the cuff role play of like a door knock or whatever, more in support of what was just taught in the training. And, you're saying it clearly, right? And this is something that everybody needs to understand. All the bright, shiny objects, which right now the bright, shiny object is AI. And I know
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that say, well, Dave, that's the way of the world. And we need to, integrate that. We need to find a way to integrate it. Look, I imagine if we look at some of the systems you have in place right now, you probably already leverage AI. You just don't realize it, or nobody's called it AI.
Right.
But the fact that we're calling things AI now, people are going down that road and going, well, how do I integrate? And again, I just want to caution everybody. Don't get caught in the bright, shiny object syndrome. Don't get caught in the magic pill. AI ain't going to go out there and do a deal for you. It may support some of your efforts or help you build a system and a process, but it's not going to get the deal done. And as you just said, Katrina, it's belly to belly. This is a
Exactly.
people business. This is a relationship business. You need to build rapport with people. So that then leads me to ask you, where did your first deal come from? Was it, somebody you know? Was it somebody you don't know? Where did you get it?
My first deal actually came from my father. So my father, he
Okay,
has a
cool.
Rolodex of people. He's a financial planner. So he deals with money all the time it's all referral based for him. He does no marketing. I still do not get it to this day. There's no advertising, no marketing. It's all referral based. So actually, my first deal, my sister and mine's first deal came from him, who was a first time home buyer who was looking for a home. And that's where it really all started from that. And
Yeah.
then it just it grew organically. Of course, we started as buyer's agents naturally.
Was it a buyer's market at the time when you did that, by the way, or was it seller's
In
market?
2019,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
it really wasn't as heavy as it was and as crazy as it was in 2021 onward.
Sure.
So we still got to experience what a more of a healthy, balanced market was before obviously the pandemic and how
Mhm.
crazy it's gotten. And also, like I was saying, very heavy into the buying aspect. I also helped out my team members who were flooded with buyers who needed some extra help. So our team was very referral based as well. I was tagging along, helping a buyer from another team member, et cetera. So, the first year of my business, if I remember correctly, I believe 30% of the business was just from myself and my sister and our sphere of influence or new people that we met. And then a majority of that was actually from my team. So it's nice to look back to see what that was and then to see what it is now. And it's very, very different.
Yeah, no, it'll take a life of its own once you start to get into it. And that's where I ask, like, where did the first one come from?
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, I mean, listen, I've asked the question many times, and you get a mixed bag of answers from people. Where some people say, "Oh, it was my database. It was driven by my database for sure." Other people say, like, I did a door knock and I fell on somebody. Other people say I did an open house. I think that the commonality between even those three answers, and I'm sure there's a slew of more that anybody could provide, they're all dealing with other people, and they all have some sort of interaction with another person.
Right.
Versus, and I know some people might be like, yeah, obviously, Dave, but stay with me here for a second. Right? What I'm saying is, it's like, it wasn't from a video that was posted on social media. It wasn't from a post. It wasn't from an email, or like you said, a letter. This was from a real interaction.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I think everybody needs to fully understand when it comes to, marketing the business. In fact, I would ask you, like, what do you find? And maybe we just said it, maybe, but what can we add to that? I guess is like, what do you find really works for people or even works for you, and I guess your sister and your team,
Mm-hmm.
For marketing? Like, what should every agent be doing as a non-negotiable? And I might have just given that away by telling the story I talked about with the other guy yesterday, but like, what are you seeing as a non-negotiable that even you guys do in your day that just, it's a constant in your business? It has to be.
I think it's a mix of both, David, right? We're living in this world right now where social media is so prominent and so heavy. And we really cater to our audience, and we cater to people who like what we're doing in terms of marketing. And that's really, our cool videos, our cool reels that we have in our listing videos. We also think of ourselves as a marketing agency,
Mm-hmm.
not just real estate agents. But on top of that, we don't just hide behind a screen. We like to go out there. We like to interact with, with people. We're always supporting different organizations and sponsoring things. So in terms of what we think is a non-negotiable, I think it's just seeing people in the flesh, really. Like, we have huge client events. We have this huge skating party that we did last year. We're doing this year, meeting all of our clients and even some of their friends who want to go. We did an Easter egg hunt last year that was crazy.
Oh my God. How did you do an Easter egg? Like, how did that work? Where?
We rented
At a park? What did you
out
do?
a park, and we did, I think it was 2,000 Easter eggs. And I kid you not, in 2 minutes.
Like the little chocolate things?
Yes, and then we hit them in the plastic eggs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Something to give back to the people who's given so much to us. Truly, it's all of our clients. It's all of our sphere of influence. It's our database. It's people that we know, because they've helped us so much. And then in October, we're going to do, what are we doing? We're doing a Halloween event at the park too. They're doing like a scary movie night. We're going to sponsor that. Any way that we could have our brand out and people could see us, not just in our professional setting, with a suit, a dress, heels, being professional, it's engaging. So I don't know if that completely answers like your.
No. Listen, it's again, like, I mean, look, a complete answer would be to have a conversation around marketing for a full hour and break down every single piece of it. And I think what I was trying to pull out there again was, that non-negotiable comes back to the real interaction. And that's what I'm taking away from it again, is that is such a mainstay. You bring up video. And in fact, I would come to that and say, I know that, again, as a team, collectively, you guys do some cool stuff. I know some of the team members do some very cool stuff. Isolating to you and even your sister right now, you guys do a bunch of video.
Mhm. Yeah.
It seems very natural. You seem very comfortable on it. Yeah, no, but see, like, interesting, right? You're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
right. But that's the perception that we get when we're watching it. It seems professional.
Thank
It
you.
seems like you're comfortable. It seems like you're comfortable with the camera, right? It seems like you're enjoying yourself. And that's important, because if we sit here right now and really, like, okay, Katrina, what's your favorite color?
Uh,
Good. And do you pizza? That'd be a really awkward conversation right now. Awkward video, awkward for people to watch. So when there's a comfort factor, it makes it very simple for people to listen, for people to watch, for people to take it in. Otherwise, people are like cringing for you, and it's not,
yes.
you can tell. But anyways, my point is, you guys seem very comfortable. I guess the question here from like a constructive perspective for
Mhm.
anybody that is doing video as part of their marketing, wants to get into more video. How do you guys come up with the content to do it? Because I've seen some cool stuff from you guys, and it's obviously not just a let's pick up the camera and do. There's got to be a little bit of thinking and planning that goes
Right.
with this.
Yes. Everything
Talk
is
to us about that, because like I'll even go that this is like there was one, and I mean this one might even be from like last year where the two of you were like in like 17 different outfits in about 10 seconds.
Oh, yes, that was our What We Were Wednesdays.
But I got to imagine that took like 3 hours to put together, just
It took
changing.
it took a really long time, actually. We're very blessed at our office that we have a marketing coordinator and a creative director in-house.
Okay.
So when we have an idea, we could set it off to them, send off a date and time that works for both of us, and we get it done. At the same time, too, their job is to also give us ideas. And what
Okay.
is really cool right now happening on social media that could be maybe trendy, or looking things up that would suit my sister and I, that would seem very authentic. And we get to do it. Of course, we mess up. Of course, we get a little bit nervous if we're speaking. It does help, though. My boyfriend is behind the camera, so I feel
Yeah.
but it's about building that comfort, and building that comfort means doing it over and over and over again, to the point where, yeah, maybe it does seem a little bit more natural for my sister and I, just because we do it. And we always said, when we were to do social media as agents and start our own, Instagram page, we really wanted to be heavy onto not just the posts, but the videos, because you can't know somebody through a photo. You don't know somebody's personality through a post. I want people to interact and see us, how we talk, how we're different, because Chantel and I, my sister, might look the same, but we talk differently, we act different. So we really wanted to put that as a main focus on our socials. So that's why it's always been a non-negotiable, where we have to do videos. Of course, we fall off a little bit. I'm trying to get better with our social media calendar, like you taught
Schedule,
me,
schedule,
David.
schedule, schedule, schedule. Sorry,
Social
background noise there.
have to. Sometimes we do fall out a little bit, but we always come back, because we know it's important. We know it's engaging, and people could actually see us with a different hat on. We are people. We are human beings, besides a just sold post or a just listed post, right? Or a testimonial. People have to get to know us. So that's why we always think it's so important. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of have a little RBF most of the time. People say that I naturally just, I don't smile. I could be, if I'm nervous too, I tend to like drop my lips, and it looks like more of a frown. So I could see maybe how people would see that maybe it's doesn't come across as the most friendly, but internally I am. So I want people to see that, and that's how
Has
I do
somebody
it
told you that? Because again, like when I watch it, I don't get that impression whatsoever.
all the time. And even my sister goes, "Katrina, smile."
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not doing anything, like just pretend to like have a really big smile.
Right.
But right
Yeah.
now, even my cheeks are hurting.
You know, it's funny though, because I was watching sports the other day. Like that's not something I do every day.
No.
But I was watching, like there was like reporters after the fact, and one of the ladies that was on there, like she seemed very, like her face, like she wasn't, I know it's like smile with your eyes kind of thing. Like there was nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, like it looks like she's just very, very flat. Like there's no expression right now, kind of like what I'm doing, where it's like it's kind of like, well, are you happy? Are you excited? Are you mad? Like, do you have any expression? As opposed to like a little bit of life, just a little bit of something. It doesn't have to be overboard, right?
Right.
But these are good conscious little things that you learn when you start, right? And if you don't start, you can't pick up on this stuff. And that's one of the big messages here for everybody tuned in, is like start. Like, how
Exactly.
did you guys get over the fear? What's that?
So many people are scared to start because they're
Yes.
afraid people judging them, right? Making fun of their video. If it's live too, you can't really go back on that. If they mess up their words, it's totally okay. It happens to everybody, truly.
Normal.
So I think people are really concerned about what other people are going to think of them. And it shouldn't matter because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in your vibe attracts your tribe. People are going to gravitate toward you when they like something about you and vice versa. And guess what? Who cares? No, you can't be for everybody. So I say try to get that fear away and just do it. And don't I even do bombs to clients and I'll mess up. I'll laugh at myself, but it's so much more authentic if I just send that off and they could laugh with me over if I said something wrong or mispronounce something rather than starting all the way over. And then it's almost like robotic in a way, right? Because you kind of already made a script for yourself in your head. And then it doesn't seem very genuine. So I just say, just do it.
Yeah.
Who cares what people say?
But how did you get over the fear? Because it's like, and I'm with you
Mhm.
of like, who cares what people say? And I mean,
It
again,
was it was my sister, honestly, and it was my team. My team they have such big personalities and it exudes through the camera. And so does my sister. My sister is my biggest supporter. She's hilarious and also she's fantastic on camera. So she could tell if I'm a little bit nervous or I'm fearful of something and she just reminds me because sometimes I need to be reminded too. Who cares? Just
yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah.
Because as
So
soon as you stop caring about what other people think of you, you feel way more empowered.
that that would probably be the takeaway right there,
Mhm.
right? Because look, biggest fear people have in life outside of like I don't know public speaking or whatever it is, but like
Mhm.
is putting themselves out there and the opinions of others. And I mean, this is what drives society,
Yeah.
right? Whether people speak up, whether they don't speak up, the way people dress, the cars we drive, the houses we live in, the neighborhoods we go to, like who we associate ourselves with, the music we listen to. I mean, I could take the music thing right back to almost elementary school, right? Where that started to create those divisions of like, I listen to this music, you listen to that music. Well, I'm part of this group, you're part of that group. It doesn't mean we don't like
Right?
each other. Just like we start to identify, right, different ways with respect to like the groupings, but it all comes back to so much of it comes back to the fear around what other people think. And just getting over that, and I love the message there, right? Just getting over that and understanding that beyond like get past the fear of what people think. And I'll say to everybody too, is my own personal, like living in my shoes, doing as much video as we do and the podcast and
Mhm.
being pretty outspoken and just saying things that normally people don't say. It took time to grow into that, but it also there was a realization that once we started doing, there was a lot less people that were coming out of the woodwork to be like, "You suck. You're wrong. This is horrible. What are you doing?" People actually like this fear of that, like everybody's going to come out and do that. They don't.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, for the amount of stuff we put out, I get the most random comments sometimes on my videos, and it's like, just ignore the shit. Because like,
Yeah.
especially if I don't even know who you are, right? But like, people will say whatever they want. Keyboard ninjas, keyboard warriors. Like, we can't allow those people to impact what we're going to do. So if you want to do it,
Just do it. And also it comes from, self-confidence too. Of course, you grow into being a little bit more confident, especially, now that I'm 4.5 years in this business. I know what I'm talking about. I know I could be professional and goofy, but still have that professionalism at the same time. And I don't care. It's so freeing when, okay, you have a great idea. You want to post about it. You have a video. And then it completely ruins your mood when you start to get in your own head and think, well, what if someone doesn't find that cool? What if someone doesn't find that funny?
right?
Someone will. Maybe someone won't, and that's okay. But someone will, and someone will really like you for it. And maybe that will inspire them to want to do something out of their comfort zone.
That is a great point you just bring up right now about the fact that you've stepped out of your own comfort zone. You might just be the inspiration that somebody else needs to step out of their comfort zone. So instead of worrying about what people are thinking or what they're going to say to you, get it done and recognize that instead of again people attacking you, you might just help a lot of people.
Yeah,
And that's actually
exactly.
typically what happens,
Exactly. You don't know who you're going to touch or inspire or
right?
laugh. Like You have no idea. So I just say, do what makes you happy and do it. Your vibe attracts your tribe,
I like
right?
that. So now we talk about the fact that you've got your sister's there, you got some powerful
Mhm.
personalities that do videos. So they inspire you to go and do, they make you comfortable to
Absolutely.
be able to go and do. You've got a team that helps you.
Mhm.
If I said, let's take a video strategy right now, okay, for anybody that might be a little bit on the fence, but that you have managed to now push over that edge to go, you know what? She's right. I'm going to go do this. And they're probably recording themselves right now, which I don't know why they're doing that. They should be listening to the podcast and recording themselves after, but
Right?
no, no.
Good after.
but let's say that this has now motivated and inspired somebody to say, okay, I'm going to go, I am going to incorporate more video content, or I'm going to leverage the camera more.
Okay. Yeah.
What would be outside of like, just do it? What
Mhm.
would be some action steps you might say to somebody in terms of like, okay, you got me. What do I do now? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Um, I would say find topics that are personal and work related that you want to discuss, I would
I
say,
like that.
and have context to that as well. Right? Like, for example, in my business, we have monthly market stats. Anybody could read that the market is down by 30 grand compared to last month, listings are down, etc. But interpret that and make it your own. And how do you feel about the market? What are clients and buyers and sellers telling you? Because at the end of the day, that could have just been a post. So just talk about your own personal experience. Also, I do find a really nice, healthy mix of personal and business is fantastic. So, like we've mentioned, my sister's doing the marathon, so she stories and or does a video of her running and
No
people.
joke. Like,
I
just so everybody understands, she posted the other day about her toes.
Yeah.
Like, and it
Yeah.
was, she was like, but like, no, seriously, like completely transparent about it.
And do you know how many comments we got from
That's where I'm
that?
going. I brought it up to you when
Flooded,
we were on a call. I'm like, and because I
right?
didn't realize whose toes it was, but I was like,
Flooded with comments that I
right?
couldn't keep up, that I had to call my sister and say, "Can you respond?" There was over 30 comments. But then we post maybe something a little bit more business related, and we barely get that much engagement.
Right.
So we're finding now, okay, you know what? Someone could relate to us on a personal level when it comes to running, when it comes to advice on certain running shoes and Chantel's toes.
No, but it's true though, because I imagine some of the comments might have been like, "Oh my god, good for you, go," but other people might have been like, "Oh my god, I've had that happen. Here's what to do about it."
Exactly. And then it
Right?
creates a conversation, not just, "Oh,
Right.
thank you. Thanks for wishing me luck." No,
Yeah.
actually, yep, I'm gonna go to that store and get that brand of shoes that you told me is good for my feet. Like, what where is the store located, or like who did you deal with, etc. Like getting the conversation going instead of just flat, and they respond to you in your story and then nothing. I don't know if that really answers. I'm kind of going on a little bit of a rampage now. I don't know if that
No, no,
answers
no.
your
But
question.
it starts to bring it together, because I think one of the important things again is again, I'm trying to like wrap that and go like, for everybody listening, tuned in live or on the recording, what can I do with that? And what I'm taking from that, Katrina, is that it doesn't always have to be business.
No.
So when you think to yourself, like I had a conversation this morning with a client of mine, okay, and we were talking about her social media strategy, and we are talking about, the whole business face of things. But then I said, like, what about the other side? And there was a serious, great, constructive conversation around, like, well, why would I post about that? I'm like, well, we call it social media, right? Like, it's not business media, it's social. And so when you
Right.
do post about running and the effort that you're putting in and the struggles that come with it, and I'm using the run as an example here, but
Mhm.
as we talk about that, there's going to be other people that like to run.
Yeah.
There's going to be other people that have been in that situation, other people that will have advice and suggestions for you.
And that's a point of connection. And then they'll
That's it
remember
right
you
there.
as, okay, yep, of course, Chantel and Katrina, they're agents, but wait, they have a passion for, well, I don't. Chantel has a passion for running, and I do too. They could now find us more of like human beings instead of just robotic agents, right? Instead of all the just sold and the just listed post. They have a commonality. And then, yeah,
Commonality. That's the word right there. It's finding commonalities.
and it's building mind share too, right?
Oh, I like that word.
I know,
I
me too.
like
Dave. I
that one. That's
know.
a good. I'm gonna use that. But it is though,
Oh my
and look,
God.
a big thing about that too, for everybody to fully understand, is you're gonna get, and I've mentioned this, but you're gonna get a lot of random comments that could come through on stuff from total strangers, and do you have to reply to every single thing? You don't. And if you get hated on because you put something out there and somebody didn't agree with it, we don't need to go to war publicly through social media or privately whatsoever. Just ignore it.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't know the person and you're never going to see the person, they didn't call you, and like, who cares? Let it be. Right? Let it be. Much the same.
Yeah.
When people engage with your post and they ask questions or they got comments or they give you tips, engage back. Right? Have the conversation, because like you said, it creates a commonality.
Exactly.
I remember when I put out one time, I'm thinking about going on a road trip. Where should I go? Oh, we had hundreds of comments and it was amazing. I had some phenomenal suggestions. Then I
Right.
started finding like the commonalities between the suggestions, like, oh, everybody seems to be saying go here, so let's think about going there. But then it was also like, hey, why did you recommend that? Oh, have you been there? Oh, what did you like best? Now I'm having hundreds of conversations going on from one post because I let you in a little bit.
Right.
Now, in
Exactly.
the end of the day, I didn't tell anybody where I was going until I got back. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I made my decision based on whatever data I extrapolated from all these comments and personal desires of where we wanted to go. But then it was like, okay, let's come back now and sort of go like, hey, did this, and here's what I did. And what happened? We had a lot more people come back and comment even more. And now we got a
Mhm.
full-on conversation happening.
Exactly. Like that's why I love social media and I love what we have done to our like WASC page group.
Yeah.
And of course, that's one of the key things you could do being in this business. Of course, it's not everything. All my business doesn't directly come from social media, but absolutely it does help. And yeah, I'll go out. I like to go out still on the weekend and people still come up to me. Oh yeah, what we were Wednesdays, or your videos are so cool. It's nice to see the compliments and the MindShare as well. So oh, people are actually watching. This is pretty cool.
That comes back to the consistency of the effort.
Consistency,
Okay.
yes.
Again, another takeaway here that everybody has to understand. It's one thing to say I'm going to do a video. We have both, Katrina and I, today said again that they're not all going to be great, and they're not all going to fit everybody, and they're not all going to attract everybody or work for everybody or whatever, drive with everybody. But come back and do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And like at some point, people aren't going to say, "Oh my God, that video you did was incredible." They're just going to go, "I love your videos."
Exactly.
Right? Or I know who you are. I know what you do. Like I had this conversation with the client the other day. We were
Mhm.
talking about her email strategy. She's like, I want to make it great. And I'm like, can I ask you a question? She goes, yeah. I said, did you get my email this week? She said, yeah. I said, what did it say? She's like, I don't remember. Oh, okay. Did you get my email last week? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what did it say? She's like,
I don't know.
I don't remember. I'm like, what about the week before? She goes, Dave, I get your emails all the time. I'm like, what did they say? She's like, I don't remember. Which caused me to say, do you even read the things? She's like, I do. I'm like, but my point, and seriously, all jokes aside, my point, yes, I want to give you some substance. Yes, I want to add some value, but understand, I don't believe you're reading every single word. What I ultimately want to do is I want to keep showing up, be the constant.
Mhm.
I want to find commonalities. I want to give you some value. And I want you to go, I like the guy. And you know what? He's been here so often. I actually trust that he knows what he's talking about. Beautiful. Does that mean I get the business? Not necessarily. Does that give me a better opportunity over others? Oh, 1,000,000%.
Absolutely. It's a starting point,
That's
right?
what it is, right?
It's
Now
fantastic
here,
that they could come to you. It just gives a gateway of an open conversation
right.
and them know who you are instead of hiding behind just a post, right?
That is, well, here, I wanted to ask you then when it comes to, because in your bio, I read it, I just want to quote it, but believe
Sure.
real estate is far more than transactional. It starts and ends with relationships, and building trust is the epicenter of your business. And
Absolutely.
I believe that wholeheartedly for all of us. Would we say that, I guess, finding the commonalities and getting on the video and putting ourselves out there is how we establish trust?
A
Anything we
part of
want to
it.
add to that, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's only a mere part of it. You still have to be a professional and know what you're doing in this business and do it well, right? I've gained that type of trust in my business through doing real estate and transacting the right way. I'll do anything for my clients. I will go over and above, literally AW for you, always working for you. That's what I do. I feel that, the videos and the social media and the communication on that is a very small part of what we do as agents. I have to do what I'm doing and be able to sleep well at the end of the day, and for my head to hit that pillow and sleep all throughout the night, knowing I did a good job. I served my people well. I came from a place of service, and I was their trusted advisor, and I did everything that I could to make sure they had a good experience. So yes, to put it all together, it's a very small part, but you also have to do business well. You have to transact well.
It's actually Chris used to use this line. Chris on your team.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Doing good real estate.
Doing
good real estate. I think that was the line. It was it hit home so nicely. And just a shout out to Chris, good dude. But
he's an amazing.
He's awesome. Smart guy too. But again, it hit home well. Like, I want to do good real estate.
That's all. That's what we started with saying when we came into this business. Just do good real estate, and that will come. People will never forget that. When you do good by them and you made them feel good and you made them feel like they were taken care of by doing good business, that will come back to you, whether it be in a couple months, whether that be in a couple years, but you will always be remembered from doing something well.
That's it. And as we talked about some of the events that you guys do for your clients, what are some of the things that you do specifically with your clients throughout the year? So we talk about some of the events.
Yes. Those
Obviously,
are the big events. Yes.
Right. And those are big. Those are like team wide.
Yes. Like
right?
hundreds of people that we get. We only do a couple a year because there is so much to do. And our team works months and months before that event to help get everything set up and perfect to make our clients' experience great. But yeah, there's also a lot of little things that we do too to take care of our clients.
So give us some, like, even for yourself, that we talk about obviously the video. There's some in-person client events, and you and I understand when I say 7 ways to communicate. In fact, I hope a lot of my listeners finally do understand, like, when I say 7 ways to communicate, leverage them all. What are some things that you're doing within those?
Yeah, absolutely. We just started this now, but we like to make somebody's Friday. So we'll get some cinnamon buns, not just a client. It could be a business that we always go to. It could be, somebody that gave us a referral, not always business, but most of the time, yes, a client that, just closed on a property we're currently working with. We just want to make someone's day. So it's called Make Someone's Friday. So
that's
right
cool.
Emma,
who was on the show last week, was talking about the same thing.
Oh,
she says she goes to a local business, and she just drops off like coffee. She goes to Tim Hortons and basically does her, I think it's on Mondays, and she picks a random business. They have no idea she's coming. She just brings in a ton of donuts and coffees and hands them out to everybody. Just say thank you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Just random.
It just makes you feel good, and that makes somebody's day. So make someone's day Fridays. Chantel and I have been doing our breakfast and buyers event that we've really, really liked so far with our mortgage specialists that we work with. That's obviously to newer people, but people in our sphere, referral people to go who are first-time home buyers. It's an awesome event that we like to host. We also love to give. We're gift givers. It's just who I am. It's like how I express my love, and my sister. We like to gift give. So usually around Christmas time, we buy huge bundles of wrapping paper and we give them to all of our clients that we transacted with that year. And the note is, thanks for wrapping up the year with us.
Cool.
And they love it. And everyone needs wrapping paper during the holiday season. Everybody needs it, and they love it. We also do, of course, like those monthly email blasts that we send out to all of our clients, talking about the market, what we're seeing, what kind of buyers we have on the go right now, and what they're looking for, in case somebody reads that email and said, oh, wait, I have that type of house that their buyer's looking for. We also do mail outs too every couple of months with an item of value. This month we did envelope openers that some people have used as milk bag openers, but regardless, it has a little Weekly logo on it. Everybody loves it. We always just like to be top of mind and give back to to our people.
Well, here you speak about giving back. I also mentioned you're part of the new emerging leaders board for We Care for Kids.
Yes.
Tell us what that is, and why do you take time to be involved beyond your day-to-day business and even your personal life?
I think it's so good for the mind, body, and soul to give back. And being a part of an organization that does so for the kids in our community. I mean, it was an absolute yes when I was asked to do it. And what's even better, so I'm a part of EPL, Emerging Philanthropic Leaders, a part of We Care for Kids. So it's a group of young entrepreneurs in all walks of life. We have mortgage specialists, we have people who own different types of businesses, a couple of real estate agents, lawyers who are masters in their craft, that all combined want to give back to the community. And we're doing it in a different way. We're not doing those big galas or golf tournaments that are maybe more geared toward a little bit of the older crowd. We want to raise money for We Care for Kids in fun, innovative, and new ways. So we've only started really since last year, and we try to do one big event. So we throw a huge summer party, and realistically, people our age, they like to drink, they like to party, and they like to go out. So that's really what we've honed in on in our summer party. And it was a fantastic turnout for the second year this year. And then for Christmas time, we do like a holiday photo shoot. So everybody brings their dog or their cat, bird, hamster, whatever animal you have. And
Did you say a holiday?
holiday, like a
Holiday.
yeah, like a
It's
holiday
funny because
photo
I
shoot.
heard that. I'm like, oh, she said holiday. Then it was like, wait, no, dog,
Holiday.
cats. I'm like, no, that I heard that right.
And yes, it's so cute. And we have this great backdrop. We actually did it at the AW Free office last year. We have a couple photographers who are amazing. And people bring in their pets, and they donate money, and we create like a little Christmas card for them. Little different ways that we could give back, because everybody is busy, but we have one common goal. It's to raise money. So we're trying new, fun, innovative ways that we think our generation would really like. And so far, I love it. I've made some great friends on the board doing it. And it just makes you sleep really good at night, knowing that you could help our community.
So there's a few things there. One is the involvement beyond business and just giving back. Okay. And the importance of that. And I've heard that. I've heard that many times, and I believe and live that way as well. I've heard that many times from a lot of our awesome guests around, that involvement in the community. The second thing we hear is not just giving back, but now we're getting involved in the community. So we're actually, again, belly to belly with people.
Yes.
Right. And we're out there with people. It's so much of what is going to help us market our businesses, our real estate business, any business we're in for the long term, is to recognize that it takes people to help us drive business. And therefore we need to be involved with people. And I know from the depths of the conversations beyond today's podcast, you guys together as a group do some very cool things for your clients, and they're very creative. You put in a lot of effort to do it, but again, there's a reason for it, because it is that real connection with other people.
Absolutely.
And I think that is absolutely just awesome. And it certainly, bodes well for you guys, and really shows why you yourself, you and your sister, and then you and the entire team continue to really do some great stuff out there. So it's, good on you for being part of that and recognizing that. And I think, again, as we've said, this progression of like where we are today, all of this sets a foundation for, what happens tomorrow. And tomorrow's, the hypothetical tomorrow could be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. If this is what we're doing for the long haul, then recognize that everything we do today is what actually sets the stage for what happens next.
Exactly.
And that message I would leave off with as well for everybody right now who's having a tough time in the industry and, tough time in the market.
Yeah.
Your moment right now is to go out, and as Katrina, you were just saying, and we've been talking about, but build the MindShare. Do the things you need to do now so that when the market does pick back up, because, it will pick back up. There's going to be a lot of opportunity coming in the next probably, 1, 3, 4 years when renewals are coming. And unfortunately, there's going to be some hard times for a lot of people. It's also going to pose a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely.
And so again, what you do today to grow your business is going to help you get there.
100%. And it's hard. This business could chew you up and spit you out, right? If you don't focus on your day-to-day and what you're doing to make a better tomorrow. And then that will make you have better weeks, better months, and better years. I get it. This market is definitely very different from what it used to be a couple years ago. Let's just say you have to work 10 times more. But I just always focus on, we can't control the market. So what are we doing to what we're doing in the market instead of what the market is doing?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Because we
Now,
could control what we could do, right? We
well,
can't.
and this, yeah, and look, I would take that to the point and say, you personally are doing that. You decided some time ago that you wanted to go to your next place, and so you decided to hire a coach.
Absolutely.
We're grateful to be the ones that you obviously chose, and I say that from the bottom of my heart. It's very, and you know how serious I take the journey together. What, just for everybody here, because you're on the show and you've shared some amazing stuff today. What would you say to anybody who's thinking about, first of all, thinking about coaching, but they're not pulling the trigger either from a financial perspective, a fear around what they believe they might get out of it, the fact that maybe they think they could do it all on their own? What would you say to people about that?
What I say is this could be a very lonely business if you're doing it by yourself, right? If you do not have a mentor, if you don't have a team, you're a solo agent, you don't have a partner. I had all of that though. I have a team. I have a business partner, and I still found myself needing something a little bit more just for myself because nothing is promised, right? I work with my sister, of course, it's the biggest blessing on earth.
Yeah.
But I needed to do something to leverage my business just in case anything were to happen. And I found myself really tired of the highs and lows that I was doing to myself, right? I'd be very hot for a couple months in real estate and then have a couple months really like nothing. And it really messed up actually with my self-worth. I directly correlated what I was doing in my business to who I was as a person for my self-worth. And I realized that this is such a vicious cycle that I need to end. Everybody has a coach in life, whether that be a personal trainer, whether that be a therapist, like a life coach. This career is 24/7 every single day. I live and breathe real estate. It would only make sense if I had a coach for that as well. No matter if you were just starting out or you're seasoned in this business. Paul Germies, my team leader, the best agent truly that I know, has a coach. Because why stop? It's always to get better and better and better. So my advice, if you're thinking of it, honestly, just do it. You would feel like a completely different person in a couple months. And yes, of course, there is financial constraints to that as well. It's not cheap, of course, but it comes back to you tenfold. And I feel so much different with a coach. I truly do, Davey. Like you help me out like through and through, even if it's just with my goal setting, tracking my deals, knowing what I have to do today. It makes everything so much better so I could go to bed and know that I had a successful day. Even though I didn't maybe complete everything I wanted to do, I go back into my goal setting for the month. No, and I didn't really hit the podcasts I wanted to listen to. I didn't hit my workouts as many as I thought. I didn't hit as many emails I wanted to send out, but I'm still getting there and I'm still seeing improvement. Now I no longer correlate how I do business to my self-worth.
That is so huge right there. That, like, for me, that's a massive message you just said, in terms of business and self-worth and everything else.
Yeah.
Again, a big deal that I try to really put on everybody, even through this show, is not to measure yourself based on just dollars and deals, but to look at the bigger picture. I had the same conversation with a friend of mine's dad, who I see at the gym all the time. He's known me for almost 30 years. And it was the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I got 60 minutes. Like I get here, from traveling to the gym to doing my workout to getting back to my desk, I got 60 minutes. I go, wow, that's fast. I said, and my assistant can't stand it because I do it in the middle of the day, and she hates that I do that because it takes up a lot of time for other things she could plan. He's like, yeah, but you need it. I said, exactly. Because at the end of the day, when I get old and tired, what I'm going to wish I had more was better health and more time. And so I may as well leverage what I know is going to happen. I may as well take advantage of that right now.
Exactly. Set your non-negotiables now.
That's right. That's a big one.
Yes.
Now you also said, forgive me, you said a few minutes ago there, but you see the return, but like it a couple months later or whatever, like it takes time.
Of course.
And there's another, I love the message of it, because I think that people look for immediate answers, whether it's hiring a coach or, starting a new marketing gimmick of any sort. People look for immediate answers, immediate results. And we got to
You're not
recognize
gonna get that.
it's a journey, is it not?
It's a complete journey. It's not a sprint. If you expect to be completely changed into this whole nother person in 1 to 2, 3 months, it's not going to happen. I still struggle with some things that I haven't fully packed down with our coaching, the calls and all that stuff. I always tell you every calling, oh, I'm still not there yet. But hey, I am so much better from where I started. I didn't pick up the phone. I would go to the office and go, okay, what do I do today? But now I know exactly what I have to do today. And it feels so good when I go into my goal setting sheet and I tick off an extra day of what I was supposed to do. And I feel so much better. But for anybody that wants quick results, it's not going to be sustainable.
Right.
So this is a journey, and it's for long-term growth, but long-term sustainability as well.
What do you think? And I guess in your words, like, I mean, I would know the answer to this for myself, but like I'm living in my shoes. Like, what should people expect from that journey together? How those calls go, to the action steps, the takeaways at the end of them, to the difference of maybe your mindset coming into the call versus how you leave the call. Like, just, I guess, trying to give people a little glimpse into, like, what does it feel like? The text message line that's there. Like, what does it feel like from call to call or month to month? Or, and again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. Where I'm going is to say, first of all, again, to commend you, because be it myself, my company, or somebody else's company that you're coaching with, the fact that you've taken the strides to do so, that already puts you in the winner's circle.
100%.
Right? Because you're working on yourself, you're working on development for you. But to give anybody just some glimpses into, like, what does that look like when I'm working with David? What would you say to people just on that front? Does that question?
When I've been working with you for since November. Oh my gosh, it's almost been a year, David.
Has it almost
I
been?
reached out to you the end of November, I think, because I didn't want to start in January. I wanted to start before the end of last year.
Yeah, I loved that too. I was like so grateful about that.
Great, right?
Why was that so important to you to start at that time versus?
I feel like I would have already been behind in January. I wanted to start from the ground, like go just 100% when January 2023 hit. I didn't want to wait because sometimes I have a tendency to procrastinate. And I told myself, there's no way. I want to set our goals. I wanted to do everything right before the end of the year. So when I wake up January 1st, I'm refreshed. I have an open mind, and I know exactly what I need to do to set this year apart and make it better than all the other years I've had. Not just on a financial standpoint, not just on a transactional standpoint, so much more than that. So I think what I get with you too, one is a constant accountability, right? You remember all of our phone conversations. You always go back to them. So did you do this today? How are you making your calls this week? Also, the 24/7-hour communication via text, fantastic. If I'm having a hard time with something or a deal that's not going right, or I need advice, I have you whenever. Obviously, of course, like not whenever, not 20. I'm going to text you at 2 a.m., but business hours. I know that you will always respond to me and really genuinely help me out. And you open my mind, right? It's, of course, I have the team, I have my sister, but it's somebody who's not directly connected that is able to see more of an outside perspective. It's pivotal.
So what would you say to anybody that's on the fence of getting started with coaching?
Just do it. Go to your website, or even like listen to, because you've had a few clients on your podcast. And it's remarkable to see the growth that they've had and the advice, but I also could just tell they've obviously been coached by you, and they have such a great mindset as well. So listen to the podcast, sign up, get that call in, and it's life-changing, honestly. And
I
also
will
like
say,
the access
yeah.
that we have to like that first event that you had in May.
That's
I
good, eh?
loved it.
Oh my
And I
God.
told myself this was a year I was going to say yes to everything. Hence why I'm on this podcast today.
Yeah.
Hence why I went alone to the Toronto
Yeah.
event in May. And it was amazing. So you have access to all of that as well.
You and everybody who has put their trust and confidence into us is what fuels us to want to continue to deliver what we do and try to continue to get better for you guys.
Mhm.
So I truly thank you for the confidence and for the opportunity to be able to work with you. And to say it out loud and very, very proudly in front of everybody, but the growth that I've been able to watch in you, and just from a mindset perspective, some of the physical things that you got to do in a day, but as well, and overall, even the mindset and the approach to the day to day, I see the difference. And I think that is just tremendous. And I commend you for that, because again, the people that are on the fence are teetering, tottering, wondering, waiting, procrastinating, stalling.
Mhm.
Those of you who decide to take that step, those of us, because I do the same, right? Those of us that decide to take that step, that's where growth comes from. And it can be scary, but
Oh,
getting ourselves over that fear gives us that opportunity to get to that next level.
absolutely. And I was scared for so long. I procrastinated for, I want to say, oh my gosh, 8 months or so to get a coach. I knew I wanted a coach. I didn't know, I was still kind of figuring it out who. And then I realized, no, like I said many times on this podcast, your vibe attracts your tribe. I love the energy. The everything that you really had to say really resonated with me. So it was a no-brainer.
That's cool. That's very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So, end of the day,
Hmm.
and you kind of alluded to this earlier in the show,
Hmm.
end of the day, how do you know it's been a successful day for you?
I knew this question was coming.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you, there's a lot of great questions, a lot of constructive conversation that goes on. This is one of my favorites, as you know, as a listener. Like, this is one of my favorites, because I think that everybody that tunes in, or even if you're a first-time listener, you
Mhm.
really got to pay attention to the answers that come out from this particular question.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Every day is different. Every day, one day could be more stressful than the next. But I think my personal high and how I go to bed at night, like I said, and I could sleep throughout the night, is coming from a place of service to people, doing right by people, helping and guiding them, making someone's day, whether that be giving them advice on this market, helping them with the transaction, making someone's day by the cinnamon buns. At the end of the day, some people will forget what you say, right? If I send somebody a bonbon and
Mhm.
it's 10 minutes on the market, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. So if you make them feel appreciated, you make them feel taken care of, that is what I strive to do. So if I made at least one person feel that way a day, that's successful to me. It will never be how many deals I did this month, how much money I made. It will never be ever from that. It will always be how I made someone feel. And if I made them feel fantastic and great, then that is my day. And that is a successful day.
And that is how I define success.
Mhm.
It's been said, and I've heard it, and I've read it and watched it way too many times to think it's anything but that. And again, if you're not living in that mindset, it's very difficult to believe in it. This is where, again, feeding your brain and the consistency of messages from people who have done it. And when I say it, I don't mean just change their mindset, but hit the level of success you may want to be at. This is where, when you learn from those people and you start to listen to those, and not just one, not just two, many, 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 and keep listening, you will learn, and you will start to break that down in your own. And again, you said this before about video content. Go and figure out what they're saying about the stats and figure out how you want to say it, and then go spit it back. Well,
Right.
same idea. You feed your brain. You're going to hear from so many people how they're doing things. You're going to be able to dissect that and break it down and go, I've heard a common trend throughout everybody that talks about it. They all do it differently, but like, there's the commonality, and the commonality comes back to helping and serving people, which is
Yeah.
something we've talked a lot about today. So
Mhm.
as we wrap up, my final question for you would be to give us any words of wisdom, parting words today that we could share with everybody, so they could get out there, build more mind shares, they can make more market share.
Oh, goodness. I don't want to be stuck on this, but it's such an open-ended question. But
It
truly,
really
the
is.
advice that I have: stay true to yourself, stay true to your morals and your values. And the thing that I say every single day is the acronym of peace. Positive energy attracts constant elevation. There are so many things right now happening in this world, in the real estate market, that is doom and gloom, that could get somebody down. Always be thankful and grateful for each day. And I know that's more mindset, but it will translate into your business. It will transfer for anything that you do in life. So peace, positive energy attracts constant elevation. Remember that, go by it, say 3 things that you're grateful for each day, start off your day right, and you do good by people, and it will all work out.
Love the message. I love the way you wrap that with mindset. Katrina, where can people find you if they want to get in touch, ask you any questions, pick your brain, anything of the sort?
Yeah, absolutely. We have our website, awforyou.ca. You also have my Instagram, the Wozniak Twins at AW4U. And then it has all of our information, contact information on there as well.
Absolutely amazing. An absolute honor to have you on the show today. Thank you for sharing all of these awesome insights.
Well, thank you, David.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you so much, Katrina.
Thank you so much.
You're either watching us on one of your favorite podcast platforms. Maybe you're listening to us. Maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Again, while you're there, make sure you download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle, including your free 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more MindShare so that you can get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, and or ongoing virtual training, get in touch with me, get in touch with my team. We'll set up a consultation call, learn more what you're looking to achieve and how we are going to help you do just that. For all inquiries, bottom line, just get in touch with us and find us on any one of the major channels. Of course, don't forget, please, to leave a review. We make this super simple for you. We give you just the cool little link called ratethispodcast.com/MindShare101. Or you could go straight to, iTunes or Spotify, whatever, but, big 5 stars, nice little comment about how much you love the show. Feel free to, share it virally across all your platforms. I'd be fine with that. But seriously speaking, please let us know what you think about the show. We're always interested in your feedback. And if we haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at MindShare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. Just before we take off, I want to thank Kits Keep in Touch Systems and REM Magazine for sponsoring this episode of the MindShare podcast. Be sure to visit our site, mindshare101.com, to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the MindShare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.